All right, happy Friday. What is it? The last day of April. Wow, last day of the month. So here, quick recap. Monday, Krishna, for example, if you think you might miss a day next week, I would send you Monday's workout. We had alternating core rows with shoulder pushes, alternating bicep curls, triceps. We had legs and abs, the same legs and abs you did on Wednesday, so we repeated that for a reason. Today we're going to be doing those abs one more time later on. Brain. Anyhow, stuff and things. Actually, are we doing that today? I gotta get my workout going. Today we're going to think about hamstrings and glutes and hips and core. I'm going to put today as, it's going to feel lower intensity. It's definitely a workout you can make higher intensity. Blah, 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 blah. I've delayed long enough to see if anybody else logged on. We're going to warm up 10 regular squats, 10 stationary reverse lunges, and 10 standing scissors, okay? So get out of that office chair, get off that phone call, right? We're going to channel some warm-up stuff. 10 regular squats. I say it all the time. When I say regular, I'm referring to feet being shoulder width apart. So regular squats, regular leg press, regular wall sits, regular hip bridges. Your feet are shoulder width apart. I would even say regular lat pull downs. Your hands are about shoulder width apart. So the word regular is just a parameter. 10 regular squats, hips, glutes, eyes, thighs. 10 stationary reverse lunges. The front leg stays loaded, or the front leg gets loaded and then stays loaded. And the front leg is pulling you up. So they are similar muscles between hamstrings, glutes, quads, motion, load, activation. And then you have your 10. Oh, good morning, good afternoon, Deborah. We're just getting warmed up. 10 regular squats, 10 stationary reverse lunges, 10 standing scissors is your dynamic lengthening of those hamstrings and glutes that you have been potentially sitting on today, that you have squatted with, that you have lunged with, and that we want to make look good, right? So it's kind of a catch-22. We sit on them all day long, but we also want them to look good. Well, that's not very fair, right? Kind of like doing agility workouts next week. That's not very fair. 10 regular squats one time, 10 stationary reverse lunges one time, 10 standing scissors one time. 10 wide squats. Hips, glutes, eyes, thighs. Flexibility on the wide squats. You're going to lengthen your hip muscles more, your hamstrings, your glutes. So most people feel wide squats a little bit more. It's not necessarily that they're better for you, but you're going to feel them more. 10 wide squats, 10 alternating, balancing, lengthening, activating, loading. Those, again, hamstrings and glutes. Today we're going to be using them a lot. We're going to talk about them a lot. We're going to activate them. And I know I can't make them look good in one day, but you know what? We're going to pretend so. Today we're going to make those hamstrings and glutes look really good for the weekend. Tomorrow is May Day, so if you have a boat, go launch your boat. If you don't have a boat, don't launch your boat. 10 alternating, balancing, lengthening, stiff-legged deadlifts, and then you're going to have your 10 standing runners. So wide squats is your flexibility squat. Stiff-legged deadlifts is your dynamic lengthening and balancing and coordinating exercise. And then your 10 standing runners is dynamic mobility, ankles, knees, hips, spine. You've got activation on your 10 standing runners. There's motion, and most people start to feel their body warming up a little bit as you get to those standing runners. When you get to part 3, you got your narrow squats. Narrow squats, hips, glutes, eyes, and thighs. It is your mobility squat. Ankles, knees, hips, and again a little bit of lower middle spine, right? Those vertebrae shift a little bit and move a little bit as you keep that posture on your narrow squats. 10 narrow squats, 10 lateral lunge. Step, load, and push You have a longer lengthening component on the lateral lunge than you do on the forward lunge, even though they both have a lengthening component. You're not stretching on a lateral lunge, you are lengthening on a lateral lunge. Is that Mama D, Deborah? I got a couple Deborahs, I got some things shipped in here. Everybody good on the side? 10 narrow squats, 10 lateral lunges, and then your 10 Jack LaLannes, the big, dynamic, stretching Jack LaLannes. Breathe and focus on the Jack LaLannes. Again, I do want you to think dynamic stretching on your Jack LaLannes. There's one more part of this warm-up that we're going to be on the ground. So again, get your 10 narrow squats, your 10 lateral lunges, and your 10 Jack LaLannes done. And then if you do have ankle weights, before you lay on the ground for the last part of the warm-up, grab your ankle weights. You don't need them for the last part of the warm-up, but we're going to be on the ground after the last part of the warm-up, okay? Your last part of the warm-up is your 10 ab scissors. Again, similar to your standing scissors. 10 ab scissors. Again, you still have torque and leverage and dynamic lengthening, but you have more ab activation. 10 ab scissors. You then have your 10 ab runners, and then you'll have your 10 core swimmers. And prone swimmers can either be on your hands and knees or laying on your stomach. Breathe, focus, motion. 10 ab scissors, 10 ab runners, and 10 ab swimmers. Remember, you can be on your hands and knees for more motion, more lengthening, more balancing, but you got to make sure you reach, or you can lay on your stomach. You're supported, you might get more contraction. So both are good. Upper back, middle back, lower back, glutes on your swimmers. And that'd be the last part of the warm-up. So kind of a shorter warm-up, but I also know it's coming your way. And then if you do have ankle weights on or ankle weights around you, get ankle weights. If you don't have ankle weights, that's okay too. I'll give you just a second. If you have ankle weights, put them on. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. They'll be encouraged in the future. Your next circuit, we're going to be doing some of our hips, not all of our hip exercises. So I don't want to label this as a hip day, but this next circuit is going to be hip, posterior hip, glute exercises, and some anterior hips with our hip bridges. So you want to get your space ready, get your ankle weights on, and then your hip bridges, you might have different body positions, but you want to have weight, if you can have weight coming your way. Set one, you're going to be on your hands and knees for donkey kicks. Donkey kicks go up and back. So don't just go back, don't just go up, but you're going to go up and back. And I know it's called a donkey kick, which sounds like you're creating momentum. I want you to think about more of a smooth push-pull combo. You're pushing back, but you're pulling up. 25 right donkey kicks, 25 left donkey kicks, and then you're going to do 10 hip bridges. Your hip bridges are going to be a pyramid in reps. 10, 20, 30, 20, 10, like we have done before. And you're only going to do 2 of those types of circuits today. Today we have a minimum of 3 circuits. That 4th circuit we get to is extra credit. And then hopefully you listen to it before you get off the call. Maybe you do it later on because it's a stimulating type of a circuit. Anyhow, you won't do donkey kicks again today. 25 right donkey kicks, up and back. 25 left donkey kicks, up and back. And then 10 hip bridges. Remember your hip bridges. Your feet can be on something if you want. Your feet can be regular position, shoulder width apart, wider, narrower. Your weight can be on your hips. Your hips can be heavier. We can even go over hip thrust. That's when your body is on something. Your feet are on the ground, right? You have different positions and load potential. Again, 25 right donkey kick, 25 left donkey kick, and then 10 hip bridges is round 1. And go, Paul, you should be safe to start there. Maybe you've already been listening. 25 right donkey kicks, slowly, 25 left donkey kicks, and then 10 hip bridges. Now, I know it feels slow, and today's workout is probably a more mindful workout than it is anything else. Round 2, I'm not saying you should be there, but round 2 is 25 right fire hydrants and 25 left fire hydrants, and then you'll do 20 hip bridges. So people might be in different places, I get that. Maybe you have ankle weights on, maybe you don't. Maybe you have a ton of load and motion. But when you're doing these first 2 rounds of hips, you're thinking about your posterior hips, your glute minimus, your glute medius, you got your quadratus vorum, there's so many things going on, your external spine angle, even your lats are kind of part of that equation, which sounds corny because you're not pulling with your hands from above, but they're right there, they're the antagonistic to these motions. Anyhow, your hips are going to be 25 each side for a little while. Your hip bridge will be 10, 20, 30, 20, 10 reps. Round 2, 25 right fire hydrant, 25 left fire hydrant, and then you have your 20 hip bridges. Remember that tempo. These hip exercises, although they're not big motions, there should be a little time under tension, 2.5 to 3 seconds. So it's about a minute each side of your hips. Plus you got moving around. You got your hip bridges going on. So it's about a 3-minute round, give or take. It adjusts with the numbers on the hip bridges, the weight you might have on your hips, whether your feet are elevated or not. Round 2, 25 right fire hydrant, 25 left fire hydrant, and then 20 on your hip bridges. We have this circuit of hamstrings, glutes, core, hip exercises. Our next circuit will be obliques with our sumo squats, so that mobility and load of hips. Third circuit is going to be our abs that we did on Monday and Wednesday with our more leg, hamstring, glutes. It's a lot. And the last circuit, the extra credit circuit, will be exertion or cardio with upper body. And that's something you can save for later on if you need to. Round 2, right? You have the 25 right fire hydrant, the 25 left fire hydrant, and the 20 hip bridge. Hopefully you're there somewhere, maybe almost done. If you ever find yourself waiting for me, slow your motions down. Round 3 will be 25 right single lateral leg lifts. We're not going to do the circles today, okay? 25 right single lateral leg lift, 25 left single lateral leg lift, and then you'll be on the peak of the pyramid, 30 on your hip bridges. Take your time. Maintain motion, maintain load. That's why pyramids exist. Just like agility workouts, they're good for you, especially when you lift a lot of weights. And you're a mom. And you drive a blue bug. I can't name any names, but round 3, 25 right single lateral leg lifts, 25 left single lateral leg lifts, and then 30 on the hip bridge. Remember, there's so many ways of doing it. And if you want to get more creative, if you have more tools, Google hip bridges or hip thrusts, and you'll see lots of different positions. You see people laying on boxes, bars across legs, people with feet on the stability ball. I mean, there's so many different positions, feet, body, weight. So you can get really creative with hip bridges. Again, you can put the hip bridge in the categories of hamstring, glutes. You can put it in the core category. Lots of things. Round 3, 25 right, single lateral leg lift, 25 left, single lateral leg lift, and 30 on the hip bridge. Feet wide, feet regular, feet narrow, feet up on something, weight on your hips. Banded hip bridges, I did forget to mention that earlier. If you have any bands, you can put the band up here above your knee, have some tension. Banded hip bridges. And again, that's something you would see on your Google search or Bing search. Banded hip bridges are good for you, but you need that tension tool. And we've talked about that in the weeks and months past. If you feel like you want to diversify, there's some really simple things out there. Bands are pretty cheap. You can buy, there's actually a little bag, I think it's like $38. You can get a couple of the cable hand bands, and again, we can start showing those more. There's also the bands that go around your ankles and your legs. And again, a little baggy, $38, get a couple different bands. Bosu balls are great, but it's a tool that you gotta put somewhere when you're not using it. Stability balls are great. They fit nicely under your office desk. Round 3 with your 25 right, single lateral leg lifts, 25 left, single lateral leg lifts. 30 was the peak of the pyramid on your hip bridge. Hopefully you're there somewhere. Round 4 is that front raise, laying on your back, knee ever so slightly bent, toe pointed out on your front raise. 25 right, 25 left. Technically the last time you'll do it like this, but there's one more thing to do. Hopefully you have ankle weights on. Remember, it's okay if you don't. 25 right, 25 left on your anterior hip front raises. You'll then have the going down in reps. 20 will be the down part of the pyramid of your hip bridge. Again, we'll do that number this circuit with hip bridges. We'll do it next circuit with sumo squats. And you won't do it again this week or this month. So round 4, 25 right front raises, laying on your back, 25 left front raises, and 20 on your hip bridges. Take your time, please. Working your breathing, hips, glutes, core. We're going to have our obliques with more load, hip, glute, legs. We're going to have our abs with more different hamstring, glute, legs. Plenty of work on that lower body today. Monday and Wednesday, Deborah, if you're bored, Monday was a great workout on our alternating rows. And that one was shoulder presses, alternating biceps with the triceps. We had legs and abs. Plenty of work on Monday. Wednesday, we had our supersetting of chest, pushing, pulling, supersetting on our back, lats and traps. Again, the same legs and abs that we did on Monday. Today, a little more hamstring, glute type of focus. Again, hopefully I'm a little bit ahead of you. Keep those ankle weights on if you have them on. It's okay if you don't. After your round 4 of 25 right anterior hip front raises, 25 left anterior hip front raises, and your 20 hip bridges. If you have your ankle weights on, awesome. We've done standing runners. I want a little bit wider version, so I'm not worried about this standing runner. I want you to think about a little bit more of a wider standing runner, so maybe a little less of the upper body focus. You could even do hands on your hips, but I want that standing runner. We got a little more anterior hips to do. Knee drives, if you want to call them knee drives. And why? Everybody at some point in their life will stop picking up their feet. Right? We accidentally trip over the curb and like, what did I do that for, right? We get in and out of the car, we kind of like hit our toe on things. Like, what did we do that for? So this is going to help remind us to pick up your feet. Now, we've done high knees running, we've done our runners, but I want you to think about those hips doing that motion, picking up your feet. So round 5 is 50 total alternating. 25 each side. High knees or standing runners. But again, if you have those ankle weights on, awesome. If you don't have them on, awesome. Just really think about the motion. And it's a little bit wider. We're not getting in here. It's a little bit wider because I'm trying to get those hip flexors. When we do this, it's sartorius. It's a little bit of hip flexors. You got your quad insertions. You've got rotation. So I'm trying to eliminate the rotation part of it all. So that little wider, we have the anterior hips, the knee drive, and you're mentally and physically picking up your feet with your hips. Round 5, 50 total reps, standing knee drives. So we even just change the name. And then you're gonna do 10 more hip bridges, the last set of hip bridges, that'll yield the 90 reps there. So plenty of hips. That was 250 hips, 90 hip bridges. That's that. Just that time alone should have taken a while. I'll talk about the next circuit soon. If you ever find yourself waiting, stretch for a second, do some jumping jacks, keep sweating that body. Again, we're going to say standing high knees or standing knee drives so we can change the mindset of running high knees or standing runners. So you have that little wider drive, little knee drive, high knees, picking your feet up with your hips. 50, and then 10 more hip bridges. When this circuit's done, if you have ankle weights on, feel free to take off your ankle weights. If you want to keep them on, you can, but the next circuit will have all of our home obliques that we're going to do. So you may or may not want your ankle weights on your home obliques, and that just eliminates the rotations and the hyperextensions. So the next circuit will be our obliques, and I'm going to talk about sumo squats. Now we've done them sparingly, so it's not that you're wide, but you're definitely probably wider than your regular squat. And before you do anything at all, we're going to try to touch your hands to the ground with your butt and your hips. Now, I know it's hard, right? And if you have a dumbbell or kettlebell, you got to make sure that weight is off the ground. So play around with your feet. And I didn't touch the ground with my eyes or my back, right? See that? I want to touch it with my butt and my hips. And you see, I'm close. If you have a kettlebell, hold the kettlebell sideways so the kettlebell isn't touching the ground. And if you do have that weight in your hands, it might help you touch the ground a little bit. Your sumo squats will be 10, 20, 30, 20, 10. This is going to be a little bigger and slower than your hip bridges on the sumo squats. But we got to start with our obliques. Set 1, let's do the easy one. 25 right obliques, 25 left obliques. I hope you don't do them again today, but you might do them again. That'll be up to you. Anyhow, 25 right oblique, 25 left oblique. That is replacing your hips and your sumo squats. And if you want to go without weight, cool, right? I want to challenge all of you to move those hips more. Remember, I'm getting down here because of my hip joint, my spine, right? That mobility of hips and spine. We're trying to get there, but I don't want to do it with my eyes and my back. And remember, I know who is on this call, and I know how hard it is. And notice I didn't talk about knees and ankles. I know it's hard. At the gym, I put everybody on the boxes, and you're holding the towel with the kettlebell, and so it naturally feels like you don't have to go as low. But at home, without that position, we're trying to sit lower because of our hips and butt. And I know it's hard, and I never want you to hurt. I just want you to try your ultimate best. Round 1, 25 right oblique standing, 25 left oblique standing, 10 sumo squats. Round 2, I prefer you go on the ground. You don't have to. You'll have your double lateral leg lifts, 25 each side, and that goes with your 20 sumo squats. So unfortunately, like Wednesday, We had to get on and off the ground a couple times, but at least we're doing more than one thing on the ground before we have to get off of it, okay? So round 2, not saying you should be there, 25 double lateral leg lifts on one side, 25 on the other side, and you'll do 20 on your sumo squats. And I say this respectfully, you gotta know, if you're not gonna get low, that's okay, right? You're playing with a load, L-O-A-D, either physical weight or time under tension. Whatever the best situation is for you to get that load, that motion, those hips, those glutes, that posture. That's what you're trying to do. Sumo squats are tough. Wide squats are different. You'll have the option of doing those later on. So again, it's going to feel kind of legsy this circuit and the next circuit. Round 2 of the second circuit, you got your double lateral leg lifts, 25 each side, and that's going to go with 20 on your sumo squats. Breathing, chilling, working. I'll even say thinking. We're being mindful. We're using muscles. We're not creating momentum. We're challenging mobility and flexibility and that posture and that slow and that load. Right? I know how hard that is. Sumo squats, low. Again, if it's body weight, cool. That load is coming from the time under tension. And I haven't asked you to do it very much. It's tedious, right? But I haven't asked you to do it very much. Hips, 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 glutes, 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 eyes, eyes, thighs. Have that posture. Yeah, having a bar on your back would be tough, but it could still be there. I don't want it. But you're in a safe position with that super tall core position. You're not giving up on that postured core position. Round 2, 25 right, 25 left, double lateral leg lifts, 20 on your sumo squats. Remember, I'm trying to be a little bit ahead of you. I don't want to discourage you by being too far ahead of you. Everybody has different mobility of joints and flexibility of muscles, load, equipment they get to use, workout spaces. We've talked about that so many times. But when you get to round 3, I would love hip dips. If you can't do hip dips, you can repeat your standing obliques if you really want to, but your hip dips is the only pushing oblique exercise. The downside is the working side, and unfortunately is a challenging position for some with their elbows and their shoulders and the neck. So you're trying to take the weight out of your arms and your legs, and you're trying to put it in your body. 25 right oblique, hip dips. 25 left oblique, hip dips. And again, if you need to repeat standing obliques, you can if you need to. And then you'll be on the peak of the pyramid, 30 on your sumo squats. Happy Friday, everybody. A little work, a little diligence, a little focus today. Round 3, again, preferably hip dips. It can be standing obliques if you need it. I know getting on and off the ground isn't very enjoyable. You're on your 25 right, 25 left oblique. 30 is the peak of the pyramid. And again, if you can't get that full sumo, right, you're holding that load, physical weight if you can, time under tension, you're just trying your best to get a little bit lower than you normally would. You're thinking about those hips, that posture, you're thinking about that load, that slow. And again, if it feels tight, if it feels like you're pushing the envelope a little bit, that's what I'm looking for. If you don't feel like you're pushing it, it's not a bad thing. We're just trying to nudge a little bit more motion. We've all stayed in that hotel room with that toilet seat about 2 inches lower than normal, right? They go, oh, you were way down there, right? We're training for that. Besides that, hip mobility, strength, load, core position. Round 3, you have the hip dips, 25 each side. You have the 30 peak of the pyramid sumo squats. Now, maybe you're right there with me. Maybe you're a little ahead. If you're a little ahead, just slow the motion down. Stretch for a little bit. Round 4, you know I like you to mix it in sometimes. You got the side crunch. Again, it's good for the mobility and flexibility of your hips and spine and all the muscles around it. The knees fall to one side. The up side is the working side. But again, it's another pulling exercise. Hip dips are the only pushing exercise. You might do an exercise that you push something away from you, like rotational ball throws, but it's still a pulling exercise. 25 right, crunch, 25 left, crunch, and then you'll have your going down the pyramid on your 20 sumo squats. It's the last pyramid of the day. The next circuit might feel like it has a little more tempo. Again, those side crunches, right? You're going to feel the hips in the back, the spine, right? You're going to feel that motion and all the stretching muscles around it. And yeah, it doesn't feel like the best oblique in the world. It's a good activation oblique, but it's not the, I'm rocking my obliques today. It is good for you though. Round 4, 25 right oblique, 25 left oblique, 20 on your sumo squats. Almost done with this circuit. And then we're going to transition to the next circuit pretty quickly to keep the work going. Again, the extra credit circuit that we get towards the end, I had a couple ladies do it earlier today, so I understand the time is going to be a factor, but it's definitely something that you could do later today when you get done with the last phone call. Just a quick little stimuli. Monday's workout and today's workout, if you did the whole dang thing, definitely hit that 55 to 60 minute mark. Wednesday, I did make sure we brought it back down to that 45, 50 minute mark. Again, round 4, you have the side crunch, 25 each side crunches. You have the 20 on the sumo squats. You still should be there. Round 5, you can either do the standing obliques one more time, or you'd be on the ground for your choice of iso penguins or windshield wipers. And notice you're hearing those exercises on an oblique day because you do use your obliques. However, they're also a great core exercise. You have the isometric crunch position on an iso penguin with the lateral oblique motion. You also have the spine mobility. The windshield wiper is more of that rotational lateral motion on the windshield wiper. Again, you're using your obliques, but also your abs, your core. Shouldn't be there yet, but I am talking about it. That round 5, you have either standing obliques one more time, 25 each side, or you could do 50 iso penguins or windshield wipers. So I've now skewed that exercise a little bit. We put it in our abs and our core and mobility things. But now I'm going to think, yeah, we could get our obliques too on an iso penguin, or when I say an upper body motion ab, iso penguins can wear several hats. You do get more abs per se on an iso penguin. Windshield wipers, yes, you do get some abs, you do get some obliques, you have the core, you have that rotational lateral motion. So they're all kind of similar, right? Round 5, either 50 iso penguins and or windshield wipers, or you have your 25 each side standing obliques for one more time if you really want to. You have your 10 on your sumo squats. I'll start talking about the next circuit soon. It'll be the same abs as Monday and Wednesday. we'll have our choices of more hamstring glutes. Today is steady, today is good for you. Again, we've had a low intensity workout. We haven't done any upper body. We did a ton of upper body on Monday and Wednesday. You did the 180 legs each day, not counting your warm-up. You had the 210 abs core each day. Today we'll do another 210. Of course, you did some in the warm-up, so this week you'll have done 630 ab cores. You have the option of getting some exertion and up body in the extra credit circuit. This next circuit will have a little more hamstring glute dynamic legs if you want them. Again, that last round, either one more set of the standing obliques if you didn't want to get back on the ground, 25 each side obliques, or you have that iso penguin and or windshield wiper, 50 total iso penguins or windshield wipers, and then you have that one more set of 10 sumo squats. Just so I'm a little ahead of you, your next circuit, it starts with your 30 sit-ups, just like Wednesday and Monday. Your 30 sit-ups, we're going to have all the abs core coming your way, and I'm going to talk to you about the more hamstrings and glutes, because if you want to repeat some things from earlier, cool. If you don't want to repeat things, cool. You'll potentially get on and off the ground again, but we're going to talk about that. When you get done with those 10 sumo squats, you're going to start your next circuit with 30 sit-ups. Again, you don't have to be on the ground, right? You could lay on the ground, you could lay on a ball, you could lay on a bench. Your legs can be straight, your knees can be bent, your feet can be wide, your feet can be narrow. You could have one leg straight, one leg bent. 30 sit-ups. That's after your 10 sumo squats. When you get done with your 30 sit-ups, I hope you're going to be able to listen to the hamstring glute choices as you're doing them, because I do want you to try to pick up the pace. That's on me. Your hamstring glute choices. You can do more hip bridges if you want. You could do hamstring curls, right? You would need a ball or something that slides. That's where you keep your butt up and you slide in and out. Those are good hamstrings, and you don't have to get off the ground, right? You could have your stiff-legged RDLs. That's both hands, both legs. You could have your alternating stiff-legged deadlifts. You could do wide squats. You could do stationary reverse lunges. Your hamstring glute legs, this circuit, you have a rep range of 12 to 15. So I'll take 12, 13, 14, 15, whatever you want. There's no more pyramid, but notice how I'm talking. I'm trying to grab your attention and give you some energy. I want to turn the dial up a little bit. For most of you, this is the last circuit. I'll start talking about the extra credit circuit. That way you can do it later today or tomorrow morning or in this workout. Round one of the third circuit, 30 sit-ups. Then you do one set of your hamstring glute legs, 12 to 15 reps. Again, more hip bridges is optional. Hamstring curls, you need a tool, something that rolls or slides. Stiff-legged RDLs, single leg stiff-legged deadlifts, stationary reverse lunges, wide squats. At the gym, you have a high and wide leg press. We got the GHD machine, hamstring curl machine. So yeah, there's a couple more tools. Round one, 30 sit-ups, then you do your hamstring glute legs. Round two, like Wednesday, like Monday, 50 iso vertical scissors. That's the isometric crunch. Legs are moving, isometric vertical scissors, 50. Then you'll have your second set of legs. Round three is your 30 reverse crunches or hanging abs. And I'll keep going soon. I do want you to pick up the pace. I don't mind controlled, higher tempo, right? I don't mind if you turn that dial up a little bit, but you don't lose motion. Keep your eyes on the prize. Today has been a ton of hamstring, glute, legs, core, hips, obliques, abs. Lots. Again, 30 sit-ups. You have your first set of your hamstring, glute, legs. 12 to 15 reps. So it really doesn't take that long. Again, if you want to stay on the ground, you're going to need something that rolls or slides for your hamstring curls. I mean, you could walk them in and out, but it's kind of odd. You have your hip bridges, regular, wide, narrow, weight, no weight. So I don't mind if you do more hip bridges. Getting on and off the ground is good for you too. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt. Stiff-legged deadlifts, both hands, both legs. Single leg, alternating leg, stationary versus lunges, wide squats, GHD machine, high and wide leg press, hamstring curl machine. Lots of things. Hamstrings, glutes, pulling exercises. And for the most part, you got to really think about your posture on your pulling exercises. Round 1, 30 sit-ups. Round 2 is a 50, 5-0 iso scissors. The iso comes from the isometric ab crunch, the non-moving contraction, the second greatest force you put on a muscle, and then you add your scissors. 50 total movements. If you go slow, you can count each movement as 1. If you go quickly, you're going to count revolutions. 50. Again, you have your legs afterwards. Round 3, you got reverse crunches, or if you're at the gym, you got hanging abs, or if you have the tool, a hanging ab machine, or you can hang from your doorway or your garage. There's other ways of doing hanging abs. Both legs are moving on your reverse crunches or hanging abs. Round 3 is a 30 reverse crunch or hanging ab. Again, we did these on Monday and Wednesday. Round 4 is the 50, 5-0 isometric horizontal scissor. You do get more hips. A lot of people are like, oh, I always get my thighs, I always get my hips when I do that. And I'm like, good. It's not an ab exercise. It's an isometric ab crunch. So yes, you can say you're going to use your abs, but it's intended to be core and hips. And unfortunately, when you say thighs, that's actually an isometric quad exercise. So iso horizontal scissors, they are not intended to be a major ab exercise. The isometric crunch is good. Again, the second greatest force you put on a muscle, but you have that core, you have the displacement of your legs, your weight, and your hips are all involved. Round 4, well, when you get there, is a 50 iso horizontal scissors. So it's 30 sit-ups, 50 iso vertical scissors. Round 3 is 30 hanging ab or reverse crunch. Round 4 is 50 iso horizontal scissors. And today is meant to have hips, hamstrings, glutes, core, obliques, abs, legs. And of course, Monday, Wednesday, we had the 3 different squats and the 3 alternating legs. So even the legs this week were limited to what we did. And again, when you get there, right, round 4 is the 50 iso horizontal scissor. Round 5 will be your 30 V-ups or toe touches. And again, just for sheer education, V-ups are great. V-ups are hard, right? They have posterior muscle flexibility. They have hip spine mobility. They're hard to do, and it's a good ab exercise. But toe touches and V-ups are not the same, so why would I put them together? If you slow down that toe touch and you think about touching those toes with your eyes and your hands, you're going to shorten the muscle more than anything you could possibly do. You shorten the muscle in the position, and then you shorten the muscle in the exercise. So you can actually make toe touches very challenging on your abs and really have some good contraction on your abs if you think about it and slow it down. So round 5 is 30 V-ups or toe touches. You'll have that last set of your hamstring glute legs. And then the last either exercise of your day or this circuit is 50 slow runners. Again, I know what time it is. If you need to leave, cool. If you want to hear that extra credit circuit, whether you do it now or later on, cool. We'll start talking about it soon. Sit-ups, iso vertical scissors, reverse crunches hanging abs, iso horizontal scissors, V-ups or toe touches. Both are good, both are challenging. Take your time, enjoy the moment. And then you have your 50 slow runners. Again, you've done them a million times. You can have your feet on the ground so you're supported. You can have your feet off the ground so you have a little balance and coordination. Slow and big on your runners. You can have your legs starting up and you focus on the eccentric contraction. So there's so many good ways to change the runners. Again, the isometric position on any ab, bicep, tricep, shoulder, right? You contract it, you hold it, you breathe it, and you can always add other motion to it. 50 runners to either finish off your day or finish off the circuit. About a minute, I'll start talking about the extra credit circuit. It's okay if you're not going to do it. It's okay if you do it later on. It's okay if you do it here with me at noon, or almost 1 for the Northwest, almost 2 for the Midwest. Hey Cameron, you're 1 o'clock. I think you're the same time zone as us, right? I believe you guys are. In just a couple seconds, I'm going to start talking about the last circuit. I don't want you to be discouraged by not being there, right? I know what you've done. I know how long some of these things can take, and it's all based on the weight you have, how you're feeling on the workout space, right? There's so many factors. When you get done with those 50 runners, you'll have done your 6 sets of abs. You have done your 5 sets of those hamstring glute legs. Again, time says, 10 to 12 plus minute circuit, again, give or take what you did. Your extra credit circuit, if you want it, you're going to do 1 set of each upper body muscle. 1 set. Chest, you can do chest press, chest pull, flies, push-ups, presses. You're going to do 1 set of back, lats or traps, 1 set of shoulders, pushing or pulling, 1 set of biceps, any hands, and 1 set of triceps. Between each, okay, it's 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, so it's 100 reps. Between each, you can either do 30 exertions or 1 minute cardio. So 20 chest, 1 minute cardio or 30 exertions. 20 back, 1 minute cardio or 30 exertions. 20 shoulder, 1 minute cardio or 30 exertions. 1 minute biceps, 20 biceps, 1 minute cardio or 30 exertions. 20 triceps, 1 minute cardio or 30 exertions. So if you want the whole thing, whether you can do it now or have to do it later on, you've got 100 upper body reps coming your way. But notice how I'm talking. I don't mind a little tempo. I don't mind a little pace. You have chest, back, shoulders, bis, tries, 20 reps of each, any movement you want. But a 30 exertion or 1 minute cardio between each thing. Okay? I don't mind pace, I don't mind intensity, I just don't ever want you to lose motion. And clearly I don't want you to get hurt because you're not focused. Okay? I know we had a couple people log off because I know what time it is too. This circuit would be 5-ish minutes of up body plus another 5-ish minutes of your exertion or cardio. So it is about a 10-minute circuit. I love it. You guys go have your day. You go have your day. Again, to finish strong, it's an extra credit circuit. Chest, back, shoulder, by, try 20 of each. One time, pick your motion, do it big, do it right. And then either 30 exertion or 1 minute cardio between each. And your exertions are agility or plyometrics or mobility. Do it good, do it right, get nasty, and I'll see you on Monday. Bye, Gopal. Have a great weekend, buddy. Bye, Deborah. I'm glad you guys got logged in today.